Hello, welcome to Hollywood Crime Scene. This is Rachel Fisher.
This is Desi, Jedeikin.
And we are back with part 2 of Movie versus Reality, Hannibal.
Yes.
As I mentioned last episode, Thomas Harris got a lot of inspiration for his novel Hannibal from this case. And obviously a movie was made about it in 2001, starring Anthony Hopkins and Julianne Moore.
And I started watching it. I got pretty far, but I didn't finish it.
The movie?
I mean, I had seen it before.
Yeah.
But is the trial later?
We'll get into that.
Okay. In the movie. Does the trial happen in the movie?
No, Thomas Harris went to the trial.
So the location inspired him.
The location inspired him, and there's another aspect that inspired him we're going to talk about.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, so the Monster of Florence, like it is mentioned in the book Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the movie obviously like largely takes place in Florence.
Right, and they probably cut out a lot of...
And they actually did cut out a scene that directly referenced the Monster of Florence. There is a character in the movie and the book that is directly ripped from this case.
Okay.
And we'll talk about him in a little bit. Anyway, my main source for this episode is the book, The Monster of Florence, A True Story by Douglas Preston and Mario Spezzi. Great book, really informative and really interesting if you'd like to know about like kind of like what Florence was like during this time. Right. And it's just I really enjoyed this book. Let's get into it. Where we last left off, it's September 1983. Francesco Vinci is in jail awaiting trial for the Monster of Florence murders when 2 young men are murdered in their VW bus.
Right.
So that's the last murder we discussed. Investigators, however, were still suspicious of Francesco. Maybe he hired someone to commit a murder to make him look innocent.
Can you remind me which guy is Francesco?
Francesco is one of the 2 Vinci brothers.
The brothers. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and so Francesco became a person of interest and then suspect because he had an affair
with the wife,
with Barbara Loci, who was murdered in 1968.
Got it. And then the 2 guys, they suspected that the murderer thought it was a woman and a man.
Yes.
Which is his typical MO. Got
it.
Okay.
But investigators are like, well, we don't know. Maybe he hired somebody to do this.
And this would be the second time someone was in jail and then a murder happened when they were in jail. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. They believe that perhaps Francesco's nephew had committed this recent murder, and not long after, this nephew was arrested for the possession of illegal firearms, kind of like a way to get him in jail and talking. They honestly jailed a lot of people that were suspects.
Dude, it's kind of crazy. It makes me think of Amanda Knox. Like the Italian justice system is kind of different.
I mean, I'm kind of learning a little bit about it, but I still am not completely clear. But it does seem like there's definitely some differences. But one of the lead prosecutors, Silvia Della Monica, was unconvinced that Francesco was the Monster of Florence. That was the last thing we talked about in our episode last week, is that she's like, this guy's a bad guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the one that's been committing all these murders.
Right.
Police hoped that Francesco or his nephew Antonio would crack while in custody, but neither of them did. Antonio then ended up representing himself in his firearms case and won.
Wow.
So they kind of got fucked there because he's free now.
Yeah, he made them look bad.
And he made them look really stupid.
Yeah.
Stefano Mele, who was the husband of that murder victim, Barbara, from the 1968 murders, he was interviewed again about the 1968 murders. He said that Francesco wasn't with him that night and that the only reason he accused him was because he wanted to get back at him for sleeping with his wife. He told police he didn't remember who was with him that night, but police still believed he was hiding something out of fear. Stefano's wallet was searched and a little piece of folded up paper was found. Basically, it was a list that was apparently written by his brother, Giovanni, of what appeared to be talking points should he be interviewed about the murders. Stefano was then grilled about what this meant. Stefano confessed that the men who were at the site of the 1968 murders were his brother, Giovanni Mele, and his brother-in-law, Piero Mucciarini. So 2 new guys. Although I do think that his son said my uncle Piero was the son. They interviewed the son after this, and like he wasn't
the little boy.
Yeah, I remember they interviewed the little boy after the murders because he was in the car, but he was sleeping, and he was also 5 years old.
And it also seemed like he had been coached, right?
It seemed like he had been coached by his dad.
Yeah.
In January 1984, Giovanni and Piero were arrested, and now they're being named the Monster of Florence.
Oh.
Francesco remained in jail under suspicion of withholding information. They're like, just in case.
Just put them all in jail.
Honestly, that's kind of what's happening. Giovanni's car was searched, and they found a scalpel, some porn magazines, and notes about phases of the moon. And this was interesting because it had become clear that the Monster of Florence was killing his victims on the new moon.
Oh.
So that is eyebrow-raising.
A scalpel and the moon phases and porn is a bad combination.
It's really bad.
Like, that's like not like a norm thing you'd find in a car.
It's a weird thing to have in your car.
Absolutely.
When they interviewed his ex-girlfriend, she told investigators, well, yeah, he's into weird sex stuff, and he has a huge dick.
Wow.
FYI.
She must have liked him.
But despite there being 3 guys in jail for all these murders, the public remained skeptical and afraid. They didn't believe that they had actually gotten him.
Well, because at this point, the cops just seem like they're throwing like darts at the board and hoping something sticks. So it's not the most confidence building.
Yeah. And there were so many aspects to this case, like where this investigation was just like fumbled and not conducted well.
Right.
So I don't blame the public for being like, I don't know.
I'd be like, come on.
These
Are we
guys
supposed to believe it this time? Like,
it's my personal belief that these 1968 murders were totally unrelated to the Monster of Florence.
Barbara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that seems like clear cut. Somebody related to her did that, and it was like a revenge killing.
Right. This wasn't like a young couple with no enemies. They actually had people who might have wanted to harm them.
Right. And there wasn't any genital mutilation or ritual aspect to this murder. It was like both of them were shot dead in the car.
Right.
I just have always, like, just since I've been researching this case, I've just always remained really unconvinced that these 1968 murders have anything to do with the rest of them.
I agree. It doesn't.
It's like, yeah, I believe like Francesco, even Stefano, like they might be guilty of something, Salvatore, his brother, but like just for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Not for the rest of them. It doesn't like fit. It doesn't fit the profile to me, Desi. It just does not. And by this time, the Monster of Florence had become an international story.
Ooh.
And on July 29th, 1984, the monster struck again. 18-year-old Pia Rontini and 21-year-old Claudio Stefanacci were found near the edge of a wooded area. Claudio was still in his car, and Pia had been dragged into an open field. Like many of the women before her, her vulva was removed. But this time, the killer had also removed her left breast.
Ooh.
He's escalating.
Yeah.
Journalist Mario Spezzi received a weird letter written to him in all caps. It read, "I am very close to you. You will never take me unless I choose it. The final number is still far away. 16 are not many. I don't hate anyone, but I have to do it if I want to live. Blood and tears will run soon. You will make no progress the way you are going. You have gotten everything wrong. Too bad for you. I will make no more mistakes, but the police will. Inside of me, the night will last forever. I cried for them, expect me.
Ooh.
Okay, Dexter.
So creepy.
Now, this letter referenced 16 killings. However, at the time the letter was sent, there were just 14 total murdered, including the 1968 murders, if you want to include them.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what that 16 is not many is referencing.
Well, he either killed more that we didn't know about or he's lying, right?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Because they do like to sometimes escalate their numbers, too.
They like to beef them up.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Like every serial killer, when they finally get caught, well, not every serial killer, but a lot of them will be like, I killed 100 people.
Right. They start confessing to crimes or the cold cases, too, sometimes.
Like they want to be like the best one.
Yeah. I think that Otis Toole did that.
Yeah, he was a tool.
So you can't like trust those numbers, which is like another fucked up thing they do, because it's like these families want legit closure.
Right. It's a way to torment the families further.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's terrible.
Then around this time, a string of sex workers were murdered in Florence.
Oh.
Now, the MO was different than the monsters, obviously. These women were murdered in their apartments. They had been tortured and stabbed to death. But the knife work on one of the victims caught the attention of the medical examiner. It bore a resemblance to the monster's knife work.
Oh.
And it was possibly done with a notched scuba knife, which is what they suspected was used to remove the sex organs. Unfortunately, investigators never did a comparative analysis of this victim's wounds with the victims in the Monster of Florence murder. See, this is what I mean about like this investigation not being thorough where it counts,
right?
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
But eyebrows were raised when investigators learned that a water heater in this victim's apartment had recently been repaired by Quick House Repair, and that company was owned by Salvatore Vinci.
Oh.
So they're like, this guy's been in the house.
That's interesting. That's like, is that one of the brothers?
That's one of the brothers. Okay. And he also was having an affair with Barbara.
That's right.
They were both fucking her.
Wow.
That is a big red flag to me.
Yes.
Or at least like, you would definitely raise your eyebrows at that.
Well, that's the first legit connection to like another crime. Or
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, to me, it really seems like that. So now the other Vinci brother is being looked at again for his role in the 1968 murders and possibly the rest of the Monster of Florence murders. They're like, let's just like try and link this guy to all of it.
Right.
These murders of the sex workers, the 1968 killing of Barbara Loci and her boyfriend, and all the couples.
Yeah. Is this the guy who had the Moon magazine?
No.
No, that's the other guy.
That was Giovanni Stefano's brother.
Got it. There's so many
names. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys in this story. It didn't help when investigators learned that he had been accused of killing his wife back in Sardinia.
Uh-oh.
Now, if you remember in episode 1, we talked about Salvatore and his brothers. I forget the third one's name, but he's not really in this story. Salvatore and Francesco and their brother, they were basically run out of their town.
Right.
Because they
were bad guys.
They were bad guys. And the final straw was when Salvatore was rumored by the townspeople to have murdered his wife.
Right.
It was ruled a suicide, but they're like, you guys are bad news.
Right.
We don't believe it. Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit. At the time of his wife's death, it was ruled a suicide, but now that case was being reopened as a homicide.
Yeah.
They reopened it.
Everything.
The marriage between Salvatore and his wife, Barbarina, was not a good one.
Her name's Barbarina?
Her name is Barbarina.
Oh, my God. So he had a type.
He had a Barbara type.
He liked Barbara.
Yeah. This was not a good relationship. Their entire relationship began after he had raped and impregnated her.
That's definitely not a good start.
No. Barbarina was victim to Salvatore's violent abuse, and he reportedly loathed his son, who she allegedly named Antonio after her true love.
Oh.
So Antonio is the guy who's now currently jailed, or who was jailed for firearm possession. It's that guy.
Yeah.
He grows up to be that guy. Then Barbarina and this man that she was like supposedly truly in love with were reported to have been seen together.
Ooh.
On the night of January 21st, 1961, Salvatore said he returned home from the bar to find their 11-month-old baby asleep in his cradle in the kitchen instead of the bedroom. The bedroom door was locked from the inside. He said that he shoved the door, but it wouldn't open. So he got his father-in-law and brother-in-law to help him open the door. When they came to the house, the door reportedly opened fairly easily. Barbarina was dead from gas poisoning. A propane tank with the valve open was lying next to the bed.
Oh, that's weird.
Now, in 1984, investigators in Florence looked into the various discrepancies in Salvatore's original story. So they're going back through this old case file.
So this is like 16 years ago or something like that.
1961.
Oh, it's even longer.
Yes.
Got it.
It's over 20 years.
Okay.
And they're looking back through this old file. What did he say happened?
Right.
Where are the discrepancies here? What sounds weird? Let's like really look at this with fresh eyes, but also a very
it's fresh eyes, but it's also looking for
with a tunnel vision kind of. Like really they're looking for it. They're looking for the mistakes and look, I don't know, maybe this guy did do it, but they really think it's him.
They think that he killed her.
They think he killed her and all these other women and the men as well. So Salvatore's second wife was interviewed, and she told the police about his more unusual sexual preferences. She said he's into having three-ways with married couples, and he basically forced me into doing it.
Wow.
She was like, we always had to have sex with these couples.
Wow.
And I didn't like it.
So they're doing 4 ways too.
They're doing 4 ways, 3 ways, maybe 5 ways.
Yeah.
One of Salvatore's girlfriends said that he would have sex with anyone. He would just like pick up random people. And that he was also into using a variety of toys, including zucchinis and eggplants.
He's so Italian.
He's so Italian. Crazy. The eggplant is crazy because how big was it?
Did they stick the skinny end first? The skinny end, you know?
The skinnier end.
The skinnier end.
Because it's still very thick.
It's a big, fat thing, yeah. It's just not as bulbous.
We're not talking Japanese eggplants where it seems like a more...
That's so crazy.
Yeah, he was a freak. By the fall of 1984, Francesco Vinci, Piero Mucci Arini, and Giovanni Mele were released from jail and eliminated as suspects for like everything.
Damn.
At this time, investigators were solely focused on Salvatore Vinci.
Yeah.
They got him.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the guy.
Everyone else can go.
Everyone can go. We're really sorry.
I mean, it's kind of funny because their evidence to jail them for the crimes and their evidence to release them and say they're not suspects, it's like both of them are really not strong. Do you know what I mean? Like they're releasing him based on all circumstantial stuff too. Like,
yeah, it is.
It is kind of crazy.
It is very circumstantial.
Like I could say release them, but I wouldn't say they're not suspects anymore necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Like
they also still don't have a murder weapon.
Yeah, it's just like, fine, release them, but you can't say they're, definitely not it.
Right.
Because you're just leaning in a direction.
Because they were also so convinced before.
Yeah, it's like, this would be like, I'd be like, come on. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Let's take a quick break here. We'll be right back. The following year, on Monday, September 9th, 1985, 2 more bodies were found.
Oh, shit.
This would actually be the last known murders by the Monster of Florence.
Okay.
36-year-old Nadine Moreau and 25-year-old Jean-Michel Craviccivilli were tourists from France. Their bodies were discovered by a mushroom forager in a wooded area 9 miles southwest of Florence. The couple's white VW Golf was parked in a clearing next to a tent. Investigators believe that the killer had approached the tent while the couple was inside having sex and cut a hole in the fabric with his knife to scare them. That's when they unzipped the tent to see what was going on, and then he shot them. Nadine died immediately, but Michel was only injured. He attempted to flee, but was soon caught by the killer, who then stabbed him in the back, chest, and stomach before slashing his throat.
Ugh.
The killer then dragged Nadine's corpse from the tent and cut off her vulva and her left breast.
Shit.
The day prior to this mushroom forager finding them,
Right.
somebody else had come across their car but didn't think anything was wrong, but she did tell police. She's like, I actually was in the area and I saw their white VW Golf parked. I saw the tent. I noticed a foul odor and flies buzzing around, but I didn't go looking any further.
Oh.
She's like, this seems weird. I'm going.
I mean, I wouldn't look, but I probably would have called the cops right away if I saw smelled something and flies. I'm just saying.
I think you gotta call somebody.
I'm definitely not going over there.
I'm not going over there, but I'm making a call.
Yeah.
If there's flies and a smell.
Yeah, at first I thought it was just the car, and I was like, well, okay, I wouldn't necessarily call for that. But yeah, she kept going.
She's like, I don't want to be involved with this.
I would have left that part out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, I saw the car. Investigators had surmised that this couple had been killed on a Sunday night. But this statement from this woman who's like, no, I saw them yesterday, indicated that, okay, they were probably killed the day before on a Saturday. So they've been there.
Guy, the suspect that they think is the guy, he's not in jail.
He's not in jail.
Okay.
He's not in jail
technically.
Yet. Right. This is the first time where somebody isn't in jail and a murder happens.
So he doesn't have jail as an alibi this time.
So, yeah. So the investigators are like, see?
Yeah. Interesting.
It also made sense that they were killed on a Saturday, given that Nadine planned to be back in France on Sunday to take her daughter to school on a Monday morning.
Aww.
Really sad.
That's so sad.
The next day, prosecutor Sylvia Della Monica received an envelope addressed to her. Inside the envelope was a piece of Nadine's breast.
No.
Yes.
Ugh. This guy's now he's doing the torturing the authorities and the press.
Totally.
When the killers start doing that kind of stuff.
Totally.
You can't catch me.
You can't catch me.
Yeah.
He wants to embarrass them.
Yeah.
And
they
scare
are pretty
them.
Embarrassing at this point.
Yeah, it's a pretty messy investigation.
And I don't know who the guy is. Obviously, it's a cold case. But you gotta think if he's not any of these suspects, he's laughing his ass off.
Oh my God.
If it's not the main guy they think it is at this point.
Oh my God, because they've been so focused on this Sardinian trail, all these Sardinians the whole time.
It's also you gotta think that they're kind of you losers, but also, hey, where's my credit? Do you know what I mean? It's this kind of they're being pulled and their ego wants the credit.
Right.
But they're also you loser.
I mean, that's the thing with these type of serial killers. BTK flew too close to the sun.
Yes.
Because he couldn't stand being out of the spotlight.
Yeah, and they have to make themselves known.
Right.
And it's that's always what gives them away.
So Sylvia resigned from the case after this.
Oh, shit.
After she received that in the mail. She's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I don't blame her.
I don't blame her at all. The police also received a letter suggesting that they look into a man from Vicchio named Pietro Pacciani. So this is the second time police are getting a letter now that's why don't you look into this guy?
Yeah.
Or look into this.
Yeah.
Because if you recall, they got a letter that said, look into the 1968 murders.
That's right.
And that's how that whole thing started.
Yeah.
The letter said, this individual is based by many to have been in prison for having killed his own fiancée. He had 1,000 skills, a shrewd man, cunning, a farmer with big, clumsy feet, and a quick mind.
Drag him.
He keeps his entire family hostage.
Oh.
The wife is a fool. The daughters are never allowed out. They have no friends. While Pietro hadn't killed his fiancée, he did spend time in prison for killing a guy that he caught hooking up with his girlfriend.
Oh.
Now, I've read this was his girlfriend, but I've also read this was his ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly 100% sure. Based on this guy, I would buy that it was an ex-girlfriend.
Right. If he's like a controlling asshole.
Yeah. So this happened back in 1951. This guy, Pietro Pacciani, caught his girlfriend and another man having sex inside a car parked in a wooded area.
Shit. Okay.
He beat the man to death with a stone and also stabbed him. And then he pulled this girl out of the car and raped her.
Ooh.
So there's a pulling her out of the car. There's a sexual violence element. It's different, but it's
very on par though.
Like, it seems this kind of like
this is definitely like the like the girl who rejected Ted Bundy.
It all goes back
after
to
those
that.
girls who look like her. It's
right.
Like very like
It all goes back to that. Examining magistrate Mario Rotella was hell-bent on proving that Salvatore Vinci was the guy. Still.
This guy, go to Pietro.
No, he doesn't want to go to Pietro Pacciani. He's like, no, we got Salvatore.
Yeah.
We're looking into him. We're not giving up on him.
He has always hated Sardinia. So he's
I think he has a problem with Sardinia.
Yeah. He's like, I'm getting these guys. They're up to no good. And it's like, that's true.
Well, these guys, these particular guys.
Yeah.
The other guys, the lead prosecutor, Piero Luigi Vigna, wanted to move on. He's like, come on, enough.
Yeah.
Enough with the Vinci brothers.
I agree.
I'm
sick of them.
They're shitty, but we don't care anymore.
How do you hear this case and not be like, oh, shit, that's actually more in line?
Doesn't it sound more like somebody who would do those other murders?
Yes.
Anyway, everyone else besides Rotella wanted to be done with the Vinci brothers and this whole Sardinian thing and just start fresh.
Yeah.
But Rotella decided to arrest Stefano Mele one more time, the husband, on a bullshit charge just so he could grill him again.
This guy's so irritating.
And he tries to get him to talk. And there was public outcry. They're like, why are you arresting Stefano again?
We've seen this in cases where they are so fucking like focused in, they don't see anything else. Like they have their blinders on to everything
tunnel
else.
Vision.
Yeah, it's so irritating.
It's really irritating. And by this time, this guy's like an old man. He already was not doing good. Like his mental faculties are just not all there. So like, I don't know what you're really going to get out of him.
Right.
I just don't know. Anyway, so Rotella's subsequent interviews with Stefano Mele did reveal a secret that he had been harboring since the 1968 murders. Basically, he admitted that the reason he was willing to go down for those murders and cover for Salvatore is because he was ashamed that they had had sex.
He and Salvatore had sex?
Yes.
Oh.
And that he had also had sex with other men and liked it. And Salvatore knew this and had this over him.
That's interesting.
While Salvatore may have been the true killer in the 1968 murders of Antonio Lobianco and Barbara Locci, Mario Rotella was working to link him to the rest of the murders.
Yeah.
Honestly, I believe that Salvatore killed that couple.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I don't believe those murders were connected to the Monster of Florence murders.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I just don't.
It doesn't connect. But the other one, Pietro.
That makes more sense.
That connects more.
But Rotella was not finding any evidence to link Salvatore to the Monster of Florence murders.
Well.
So he decided to arrest him for the 1961 murder of his wife.
Oh my God.
It's like, we got to get him on something.
I hate this guy.
Rotella.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the department hates him too, honestly.
They're like, shit.
They're fucking sick of this guy.
Yeah. He's like the type of guy who's like, makes people stay late. Like, I'm going to leave. No. And then he like pulls something out or something. He's a hated coworker.
Yeah, he's not a fun coworker. So Salvatore gets arrested in June of 1986. Rotella still hoped that he would be able to prove he was the Monster of Florence while he's like sitting in jail. He's like, we arrested him for the murder of his wife.
Yeah, let's just keep him here.
But maybe he'll crack.
They're not going to crack.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Nobody's cracked so far.
You can't wait for someone to crack. That's crazy.
The only person who's cracked is Stefano Mele admitting that he fucked Salvatore.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was like after many years.
Right. Right. But he couldn't prove it while he waited in jail. And then his trial comes along.
Yeah.
And he was acquitted for the murder of his wife.
Oh, shit.
The following year, after the trial in 1989, Rotella was forced to abandon the Sardinian trail.
Shit.
Like they made him.
That's crazy. I've never heard of such a thing happening like in the US. Like I've heard of people going too long on something.
Yeah.
But being forced to stop is crazy.
I know.
Or usually when they're being forced to stop, they're actually right or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah.
And it becomes this like behind the scenes investigation or something.
Yeah, they're like, don't look into that.
Yeah. This is crazy.
So Rotella ends up resigning altogether from the case. Because he's like, if we're not going to look into the Sardinians.
Yeah, he's got a save face.
I don't want it.
Yeah. His wife's like, ugh, now I have to deal with them.
Yeah, she's got to deal with Rotella at home. And he's such a bummer.
Yeah, she's like, no, I thought you were never going to retire. Please.
The Vincis and Stefano Mele and anyone else among these Sardinian people were cleared of all charges and officially ruled out as suspects.
Wow.
So it's 1989.
All this time wasted on these guys.
This is like, how many years is this? This is like
since
almost
68, it's been like 21 years.
Yeah.
But if you include the wife, that's even longer.
But just I guess they were investigating these guys since 1981.
Right. So that's a long time.
It's a long time.
And they've all been in and out of jail.
Right.
A few times.
No progress has been made.
No, this is crazy.
A whole new look at the case began. This is like a new era. And the investigation was now being led by Chief Inspector Ruggero Perugini. Now, he became the basis for a character in Hannibal.
Okay.
Unfortunately for him, that character meets a rather gruesome end.
Yeah, I just watched that scene.
So you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like the main Italian detective in the first, whatever, half to 3/4 of the movie. I can't remember.
That's who this guy's based on.
Yeah. This guy in the movie, he's kind of hot.
He's kind of like was dashing in real life.
Yeah, this character, it's like that, kind of like tired looking Italian guy.
Mm-hmm.
You're still kind of sexy.
Yeah.
Because he's got that Italian swag and he's super chill and like, he's looking into things.
Yeah.
He's got like a hot younger wife.
Right.
And it's just like, what? How do you bag her?
He meets a really bad end.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's bad.
It's very, yeah.
Anyway, so this guy's the new top dog on the case, and he's got a real tough job ahead of him. Much of the initial evidence gathering at the crime scenes had been really incompetent. Kind of like in the Lake Bodom case, they were just letting randos trample all over it.
Right, and there's so many crime scenes, too.
There's so many crime scenes. In fact, the only crime scene that was, like, properly cordoned off was the final crime scene, was the 1985.
Yeah, and then even if they had done things properly, you're still dealing with a wooded area.
Yeah.
Before they find them, it's got animals coming through. Who knows what the hell's happening? Like,
right.
So it's already kind of a contaminated crime scene.
A truffle hunter might come through. I don't know.
A pig might come sniffing
pig
for
sniffing.
a truffle. Yeah. Yeah, it's so bad. And he also has the public who are just have no faith. Everyone's like done.
And they're
the
scared.
Families are scared.
They're scared still.
Yeah.
Even though it's now been 4 years since the last murder, which is like they were happening basically every year.
Right. For a while.
Like from like 81 to 85, they were happening at least once a year.
When those murders stop happening, it's not like, woof.
You don't know.
You're like, I don't know, it could pop up again.
I'm sure it was like that for Zodiac.
Oh my God.
For a while.
You don't know where they go.
Right.
And it's like you can speculate, oh, they must have been put in prison or whatever for something else.
Anyway, this guy, Perugini, decides to look into other sex crimes that had occurred in Florence, looking into which men had been in jail during when the murders occurred and narrowing it down to like where people were.
Doing like a little cross list.
Doing some cross-examination. I know that's not what it's called, but cross-referencing. A cross-referencing of like where these sex criminals are. Are they in jail at the time of the murders?
Right.
They're crossed off the list. Finally, somebody's looking into like somebody with like
actual
who's like doing sex crimes.
Yeah. That should have been done day one.
Yeah. Anyway, so in his search, he came across Pietro Pacciani.
He's on that list too. Right?
He's not a Sardinian.
No, but he's on the list of sex crime people.
He was on the sex crime list. And so he comes across this guy's name, and you know, this guy was mentioned in that anonymous letter. We talked about the 1951 murder he committed.
So he has another sex crime?
Or
is
yes.
This? Okay.
Yes, he does. So 1951 wasn't the last time that this guy was known to have committed a heinous crime. Following the last murder of the monsters in 1985, Pietro was sent to prison for raping his daughters.
What?
Yes.
Ugh.
So they're definitely looking into this guy. He's out of prison now.
What? You get out of prison after that?
Yeah, I guess. So they search Pietro Pacciani's house, and they find a reproduction of Botticelli's Primavera.
Oh.
In that painting, one of the girls has flowers coming out of her mouth, and Perugini believed that the flowers resembled the gold chain that was hanging out of one of the victims' mouths in the 1974 murders.
Oh, shit.
I zoomed in on that, the flowers, and I was like, oh yeah, it does look like a chain.
Right.
Because it's like a kind of a chain of flowers. Mm-hmm. A centerfold from a porn magazine was like in his kitchen at this guy's house, which is weird. And this centerfold was surrounded by pictures of saints.
So he's got some issues.
He has some issues. Other items collected from his house included World War II era shell casings, knives, and porn magazines.
Jesus.
There was also a painting that he had done himself.
Oh, no.
And this painting was real weird. The painting depicted a centaur-like creature with both male and female sex organs. It had a skull for a head and was holding a saber. Not a lightsaber, but a saber.
Yeah.
It had the body of a bull with huge clown feet.
Oh, my.
And around the creature was mummies that looked like policemen. So maybe they were mummies with like police hats.
This guy needs to be in jail. This is too weird.
That's not done. There was more stuff in the painting. A hissing snake was wearing a hat.
Okay.
A hissing snake. Who does he think he is? Hieronymus Bosch?
This is crazy. He's like, he didn't know when to quit.
There's more. Also in the painting were 7 crosses sticking out of the ground with flowers around them. Now, Inspector Perugini believed that the 7 crosses represented 7 times the monster had struck. He's like, those crosses are graves.
Right. I mean, I'm sure they had a field day analyzing this painting.
And he signed it, and he also titled the painting. And the painting he had titled it was like a science fiction dream.
Okay.
So I don't know.
He's trying to deflect.
Despite the fact that Pacciani was a compelling suspect, there were some things against him being the killer. For one, he was 60 years old at the time of the last murders and had recently had a heart attack. He was short, out of shape, in poor health, and an alcoholic. It seemed hard to believe that this guy could outrun and overpower 25-year-old Jean-Michel, who was very athletic. He also seemed too short to have committed the 1984 murders against those two German men, as the shots that were made through the VW bus were determined to have been made by someone who was at least 5'10". Because it was made through, like, the window, like the upper edge of the window.
And it wasn't, like, at an angle.
No.
Interesting.
So
I don't like it.
That's against him.
Yeah.
But Perugini was all in on this guy.
So now he is all in. Well, this guy's a true creep.
This guy this guy did some really bad things.
Yeah. I just,
I don't blame him for, like, wanting to believe that, like, this guy could have had something to do with it.
Well, and also those things that are against him, like, technically, like, let's say he's 60. I mean, killers can be fucking, like, have some crazy strength, and you would never, like, the BTK killer didn't look particularly, like,
athletic.
Imposing or athletic. I think if you're scaring someone, you have a lot of power.
Right. This couple was in the middle of having sex in their tent. They were surprised.
And if a guy, even a young guy running in fear for his life, you can trip, fall. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I think that too, actually. So he wanted to but he also wants to pin the 1968 murders on this guy too.
Well, that's going too far.
To me, I don't buy that.
I don't either.
I don't buy that.
Also, I don't believe that guy would go after that couple and not do anything as far as mutilation went.
Right, or rape.
The only thing I can think is if he saw the young boy, maybe he panicked and left.
That's an interesting point.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's like, that would have been shocking maybe to a killer.
Right.
And he's like, I got to get out of here.
I got to get out of here.
Maybe he didn't have it in him to kill the kid.
Right.
I don't know.
Because there was that other murder where he was clearly surprised and had to get out of there when the car tried to get away and ended up on the main road. So
that happens in these serial killer cases often. Something
they're interrupted.
They're interrupted in some way or shocked in some way, and it changes the MO slightly.
Right. So his house gets bugged.
Okay.
They're gonna find something.
Yeah. This guy.
They're gonna find something. Then Inspector Perugini went on TV and made a plea to the monster. He's like, "We will find you.
Oh.
But we will help you." He's trying
to get him. Come on, guy.
He's trying some stuff.
Just do the right thing.
He's like, "Come forward, please." Yeah. He was hoping that Pacciani was watching at home and that he would say something incriminating. I don't know.
I'm never going to turn myself in.
Like, honestly,
that sounds like something I would do. Some stupid, like, maybe he'll be at home and be like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, at the time of this statement, Pacciani did start shouting expletives.
Oh, so he was watching it.
So he was, I guess, watching it. And then he said, "They better not name names because I'm just a poor, innocent, unfortunate man." So this could mean, I mean, this doesn't prove anything.
Because he could have been like right up to the bug and saying it because he knew he was being listened to.
Right. I mean, this guy, he doesn't know he's bugged, but his house has already been searched. He knows that he's suspected of something.
But you don't know that he doesn't know, right?
That his house is bugged?
Yeah.
Maybe he does know.
Because if I was being under investigated, I might assume I'm being bugged and being like,
I didn't do it.
I'm just an innocent old man. I couldn't hurt a fly.
This was not exactly a smoking gun. Years went by, and Perugini was unable to gather much evidence against Pacciani, at least not anything to warrant an arrest.
So this guy failed too.
Yeah. At some point during his investigation, he enlisted the FBI's behavioral science unit.
Finally.
To write up a profile of the monster of Florence. So they're going to America for help. Honestly, Desi, the BSU's report is like everything I initially believed about this killer.
I love hearing these reports because I can always be like, yep, I figured.
Yeah.
I knew.
That's what I was doing when I was reading it.
You're kind of like, oh, yeah, of
Yep,
course,
yep,
obviously. We all know that.
So the report stated that he was a sexually impotent male who hated women and got off on killing them. Here's an excerpt from that report. The aggressor, in all likelihood, effectuated, I wrote that wrong, affected a surveillance of the victims until they engaged in some sort of sexual activity. It is at this point that the aggressor chose to strike, with the advantage of surprise, speed, and the use of a weapon able to incapacitate immediately. This particular method of approach is generally indicative of an aggressor who has doubts about his own ability to control his victims, who feels insufficiently prepared to interact with his victims alive, or who feels himself incapable of confronting them directly. The aggressor, using a sudden approach, discharged his weapon at close range, concentrating his fire first on the male victim, neutralizing, in this way, the greater danger to himself. Once the male victim is neutralized, the aggressor feels himself sufficiently secure to perpetuate his attack on the female victim. The use of many rounds indicates that the aggressor wanted to assure himself that both victims were deceased before initiating the mutilation post-mortem on the female victim. This is the real objective of the aggressor. The man represents only an obstacle that must be removed.
Yeah.
So kind of like we talked about last week, like this ritual, that's like his objective.
Yes. To get to the woman.
That's like a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Is this mutilation. The report concluded that the monster of Florence acted alone, that he was sexually inexperienced, and he wasn't a rapist. So that's a count against Pacciani.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting. They thought he's not a rapist because he's never even had much contact with women before.
Right. And none of these women were sexually assaulted. I mean, outside of cutting off their genitals. They weren't raped.
They weren't raped.
Like there was no semen found.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. The report said he may have had a record for things like petty theft or arson, but not for violent crimes on his record. He is of average intelligence and may have had a job that requires him to use his hands. He also would have tried to aid the investigation anonymously via letters to the press or police.
Ooh.
The report stated that the monster took souvenirs, either body parts or trinkets, so he could relive the crimes. It was speculated that the killer might even consume the body parts as a way of taking possession of his victims. When he sent the piece of one of his victims' breasts to the police, that was a way to humiliate them.
Yeah.
The FBI believed that the reason no killings occurred between 1974 and 1981 is that he was out of town.
For that long?
I guess. They're like, he wasn't living in Florence then. The report went into the motive of the mutilation. This was, of course, the monster's signature. The report stated, quote, "The possession and the ritual are very important for this kind of aggressor. This would explain why the female victims were generally moved some meters from the vehicle containing their companion. The necessity of possession as a ritual enacted by the aggressor betrayed rage toward women in general. The mutilation of the sexual organs of the victims represented either the inadequateness of the aggressor or his resentment of women." I mean, that lines up for me.
I agree. Like, in some ways, Pietro maybe was too, sexual. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
I don't like the idea, but I see the idea that this guy couldn't even have sex, and his rage is partially derived from that.
right.
It's not even just women rejecting him, but he can't even, maybe he even tried to sexually arouse himself while watching.
He can't even perform.
Yeah, it's and he can't get hard in that moment, and then that sets off the murder. Do
right.
you know what I mean?
And that's how he gets the release, is from the killing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I said last week, why I never believed the Vinci brothers. It's like, they may be bad guys.
Yeah.
But this kind of shit doesn't line up with that to me.
Because it's always like some, it's typically like, it's like the classic thing where like, he was just this quiet guy who never caused problems at work.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's always like, that's a trope for a reason.
Right.
Because it is usually this unsuspecting weirdo, maybe, but in just kind of like a normal weirdo way.
Yeah. Anyway.
We still need to put Pietro in jail, though. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Now, the book notes that because this profile didn't fit Pacciani, that this report was set aside by Inspector Perugini.
Oh.
And he just plowed ahead with his tunnel vision.
He's like, thanks, but no thanks.
Basically. He's like reading and he's like, yes, no.
I don't like that.
Because there's a couple things that don't match him. Not saying that every single thing in the BSU's report needs to be like 100%.
Right.
But it does raise some questions.
It's definitely overall, though, not sounding like Pietro.
In terms
like
of
if
like,
you take the whole of the report, it's not lining up with this guy. It's not just like one or two details.
Right.
Yeah.
But he really believes it's Pacciani. So in 1992, Inspector Perugini launched another search of Pacciani's property, this time a more intensive one. He's like, we're digging up stuff now.
They're going to go in the crawl space.
Basically,
they're looking maybe for those body parts, the trophies.
Yeah, they're looking for anything. And Perugini ends up finding his smoking gun. Well, not exactly a gun, but a bullet cartridge, at least. And the bullet cartridge they found was a Winchester Series H cartridge. This is the same kind of bullet that's been used in all the crimes. Now, if you remember, what made these bullets particularly unique in the crimes was that they all had been fired out of a gun with a defective pin.
Right. And
which
it left like a mark.
It left a distinctive mark on each of the bullets. Now, this bullet that he found was unfired, so there's no marking on it.
Oh, got it.
So while it's the same kind of bullet that was used in the crimes, it's not like
100%.
It's not definitive.
Yeah.
But this was enough for Inspector Perugini.
Yeah, he didn't need much.
He did not. He's like, we got it. We're good. One bullet in the yard.
Is this a popular gun?
The bullets? Is it for ammo?
I don't know. Like, would a lot of people have had this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know much about guns and bullets.
Yeah.
But this was enough for him. And on January 16th, 1993, Pacciani was arrested and charged with being the monster of Florence.
Shit. Now, is this the really ugly guy? That's
Probably.
Kind of balding with the deep set eyes.
Yeah.
That are like, he looks like Peter Lorre or something.
Jesus. Yeah. This is the trial that Thomas Harris would go to.
Oh, okay.
So he was like really into this trial.
Yeah. I mean, I can
He was doing research in Florence.
Imagine I would be going.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So next week we're going to get into the trial, obviously, and we're not even fucking finished. Like there are some crazy theories about this that we're going to deep dive into because it was too complicated and too interesting for me to cram it all into this one episode. So this will be a 3-part episode. I'm really excited to talk about these theories with you.
I'm excited.
Some of them are pretty wild.
I love some good theories.
Yeah.
They're always interesting. Great. This case is so interesting.
I know.
And it always makes me so hungry. All these Italian names.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding. Sometimes you say something, I'm like, mortality, that's so good. Like, what is that?
Dude, it just like talking about Florence in general.
I know. I'm just like, I want to eat.
I want to eat. We're planning on going, when we eventually go on our honeymoon, we're going to go to Florence.
Oh.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, I've wanted to go to Florence since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
It's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And I gotta eat.
I need some pasta. I want it. Oh, yum. Anyway.
Okay.
We'll
talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.